and have discovered something they really shouldn't have and gone, I'll fuck with this.
Oh.
Not like that, but as in like...
We're rolling.
Dice.
Camera. Action.
Hello and welcome to the BBEG Podcast. This time it is season 2 and we are discussing classes. And just in case you have never seen us before, my name is Hattie and I'm here with
M.
Lovely. And this session today, where are we? What planet are we on? Today we are discussing Warlock. They are kind of one of the magical classes that neither of us know that much about. So join us on this wild ride.
So we're really going to help you today.
Yeah. Join us on this wild ride as we try and sort out what in the name of hell is going on.
I feel like not knowing much about it is not the right... We've never played this class. I think between us we've been lucky that most of the classes we have played, spoken about even, we have either played between us or at least in one of our groups.
Yes, someone has been something.
Well, you have that currently.
We do have that currently.
We're frustrated with it, and we will get to why, because...
But I think it's also, I am unable to help. And that has been a very weird position for me, because normally in our group, I'm like, oh, Em and I have spoken about this all the time. And now with Warlock, I'm like, I don't know what is going on.
So we always like to talk about like a personal connection to each and every class, be it your first ever character, your first character slash class, your favourite class.
Yeah.
If you've ever just played it in general.
Or been in a room with one or witnessed one on TV.
No.
None of the above.
Well, you've played with someone who is playing.
At the moment, currently, we are on quite a small campaign run by another co-host of the podcast, Will. Yeah. And... it's good. We have we've got a lot of people playing classes they haven't played before. Yeah. Stunning. One of those being a Warlock. And it is incredibly hard for me to offer advice because I have absolutely no idea what is going on. So we'll have like spell changes and things we have access to and not have access to. And I don't know. But I haven't even seen one on TV. So I can't even be like, oh, it's like this.
There is an example of a Warlock on YouTube with Critical Role in their 3rd season.
Of course.
Where Marisha, I had to think then, is her character Lordna.
Yes.
Is playing a Hollowed One Warlock multi-class with a Sorcerer.
Okay, but this is another thing. Yeah. The only time I think we've ever even gone remotely close to Warlock is when people are multi-classing.
Yeah, so then it's hard to differentiate what is being used of what class.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And here we are. We're here to help you and apparently educate ourselves at the same time. It's going to be good. So we're glad you're here.
So we always talk about like where these characters sort of fit.
Absolutely.
In the scope of a party.
Yes.
If we're looking at traditional archetypes of tank, healer, defense, blaster, striker, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Warlocks are pretty much like blaster and striker situations.
True. They do also have like a little manipulative streak
controllers.
To them. So they can, get in and out of situations. They're quite charismatic.
Mm.
So they're able to, get in, manipulate, sort out.
Yeah.
Control an area.
But even with some of their magic, I think... obviously the invocations that they get are like Eldritch Blast and stuff like that, so they are great for like shooting at a distance, helping stay in the background, take down enemies whilst the big boy of the group goes in and tries to take them down. So Blaster and Striker, it makes a lot of sense. But I'm with you, like controllers, I don't know their initial spells list, but do you know what I can do? I just have a quick...
Yeah, their spells list to begin with, I think, is so different from the spells list they get via their...
their packs.
Thank you. I always forget what subclasses are called, because every class has got a different name for it, be it Circle of, Oath of, Pact of...
Okay, they get some buff spells.
Nice.
With, like, Armour of Agathis, which is where you gain 5 temporary hit points for the duration of this spell, which is an hour. And if a creature hits you with a melee attack while you have these hit points, the creature takes 5 cold damage.
Okay.
So that's pretty handy. Cause fear. So that's it's still a buff. I would class it as like a control situation.
Yeah.
They can charm people, comprehend languages. I'm just looking at the very... Love a hellish rebuke. Love that spell.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. So, their main thing is like blasting and hitting people down from a distance. But darkness,
Yeah.
magical darkness spreads from a point that you choose within range.
Yeah.
A creature with dark vision can't even see through it. So I would also put them in the controller category because they can put things in a battlefield that will affect the opposition.
Yeah.
Like Earthbind, great spell.
Yeah. And these are all things which, we've done a lot of classes where you gain things from a god or
a
deity or a patron or something. Yeah. This one is no different. Only you have made a pact or a deal with an otherworldly being.
Deal with the devil.
You've literally made a deal with the devil, and that has granted you powers and abilities. Which
I do kind of like that for like a story build.
Right? For a character, you're like, this is great.
Yeah.
Okay, just to summarise, they're not the ones who will be running up close and personal in a fight, but they will be blasting and striking their way through.
But neither is a wizard or a sorcerer.
Exactly.
Unless you have a death wish.
Unless you are wanting to. What is wrong with you? Don't out me like this.
Callista, very much like, I will run, fire.
Yeah, but it's because I have fire hands. So, and I can't throw that, so I have to.
Somebody gave me fire!
Yes, they did.
Yeah, that is how she plays that character.
It is. You don't want your world destroyed, and yet I will do it anyway.
So if we're looking at creating a class.
Yes. Yeah.
Walk us through.
Typically, if you are creating a warlock, you are going to want your charisma the highest.
Yeah.
And this is because this is where your magic comes from.
Makes total sense.
So,
which is the same as a paladin's magic source. Same as a sorcerer's magic source. I was about to say cleric, but I actually think cleric is wisdom.
Yes. The next one you're going to want to do is constitution.
Absolutely.
This is because you are kind of fragile.
You're not as fragile as sorcerers or wizards because they have the lowest barrier of the health points with a 1d6. A warlock does get a 1d8.
Yes. But you're going to want to just...
They do get light armor.
Okay.
Well, sorcerers and wizards
don't get
no armor. So
in my head, they had medium armor. That's why I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah. So, clerics get the medium and even heavy. But like, considering you're a magic user, you've already got the better health point system out of the other two.
Yeah.
And you're able to wear some armor.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's already some pros to what we've scanned through and gone. Yeah. Restrictive in some areas, and maybe that is because actually with some weapons you can afford to get a bit more up close and personal.
True.
Definitely more than those two.
Yes. I mean, in terms of like health HP barriers, they're on a D6 if you're a wizard and a sorcerer.
Yeah.
You're on a D8. So you have basically a +2 advantage on them.
Yeah.
But it's still only a +2.
Yeah.
So
add your constitution in, which is probably why it should be your second highest skill in this.
Lift it up a little bit. Having said that, you make the character how you want to make the character. This is just a guide.
Yeah.
But as your magic comes from your charisma, maybe look at charisma heavy races. So your tieflings with the +2 in charisma. I think you've got drow, which have a +1.
Yeah.
Or if you're looking kind of outside the box, an Aasimar is a +2 in charisma.
Yes, it is.
And a changeling is a +2 in charisma, but also a +1 in any other one you want to choose.
That is handy. Now, the other races that you mentioned do have a +1 or a +2 elsewhere. But we're just focusing on the charisma, which is what you'll need for your magic.
Yes.
But the fact that a changeling allows you to choose
anywhere else.
That could be perfect for your constitution, especially if you're struggling to find a race that has a charisma and con situation.
Yeah.
However, if you have rolled fairly decently in your ability rolls, if that's how you're rolling manually, if you're doing point buy or standard array, however you want to do it, it would be such an easy way to give yourself your highest charisma as possible, still have a decent constitution, like a +2 modifier, if you can't afford to push on to that +3 for con, and then put that +1 elsewhere. If I personally was to put that somewhere that wasn't constitution, for me, it would go in dexterity. Just to boost it. Only for the simple point of, people think, what about wisdom and intelligence, where you want to do a perception check to see if people are around you or you're in danger and whatnot. I totally do understand those decisions. But for me, because you've spotted the danger, I want something that can help me maybe dodge it when it happens. Because sometimes you can't always avoid it. So a dex mod boost, your acrobatics, your stealthiness, which could be handy in this situation of, I can be a stealthy magic user. That's not a rogue arcane trickster. Get to a place, blast, run, or manipulate part of a situation without being detected.
Which is incredibly helpful if your hit points, if your armor class even, are low. So, another one I've just thought of is variant human, because you get to choose +2 to 2 stats, which means that you could put 1 in charisma and then 1 in dexterity, or 1 in strength, or 1 in anything else you want to do. Which frees it up as well.
Exactly.
Once you have chosen your stats, the next thing is kind of choosing your background. And for this, you want to look at things you want to give proficiency for. So if you're leaning more towards like history and religion, or deception and stealth, those were kind of the way I would go about it. For the book, they have you down as the charlatan background, because it's proficient in deception and sleight of hand.
Makes sense.
So crafty. You could also go criminal, or you said spy?
So criminal and spy are basically very similar.
I
believe they both have the deception and stealth as their proficiencies. But criminal, obviously, it's playing on the fact that you have been some criminal at some point, whether you've been caught or not. And then the spy aspect is basically they're mirror images of each other from a different point of view. So the spies, are you working for your kingdom as like an agent to find information on other stuff that's going on? So, but essentially, in terms of the proficiencies, they're the same. I think they just get a slightly different feature when it comes to languages and stuff like that.
Absolutely. The next thing after you have chosen your background is your spell cantrips. Now, we will be covering this later on. They do recommend in the PHB that you choose things like Eldritch Blast and Chill Touch as cantrips, and then Charm Person and Witch Bolt as your first level. But this is entirely your choice. You are making this character. Talk to your DM about the terrain, the place you're going to be.
The
world in general, because your spells are important, and we'll get into kind of... They're awkwardly managed. So if you can choose ones that are powerful and not expensive...
Eldritch Blast.
And
I will say this, if you are picking a Warlock and not deciding to pick Eldritch Blast from the get-go, I'm kind of going to say, what is the point? The point that the magic system works slightly differently to wizards, sorcerers, and druids, who are like part of the big four when it comes to pure magic users. They don't get as many spells or spell slots in comparison to the others, but they get a thing called invocations, which is what the Eldritch Blast falls under. Well, it falls under the cantrip, but invocations are these things that you learn as you are leveling up that can boost the magic you have. Like Eldritch Blast, as example, there's one invocation that basically says, where you can add your charisma modifier to the damage it deals on a hit, whereas most cantrips and spells, you can never add a modifier when you are dealing damage. It is a straight up 3d6 or 1d10, nothing else. So to have that on top, is a juicy boost if it's going off your charisma and that's your highest score.
Yeah.
But you want to consider if that is worth a payoff for you compared to what other users and features can give you in other classes.
Yeah. So yes, if I would always consider your constitution anyway, just because of the D8, D6, and as well with the spells.
Yeah. Maybe
don't lean into the ones that are touch based.
Yeah.
Because it means that you have to be facing your opponent.
So I always think it's handy to have one.
Because one is fine, yes.
The loophole, the catch-22 of that is, if you are within 5 feet of someone, you then can't use the range spell. Because you're in melee range. So you at least want something like Chill Touch or Shocking Grasp, always a goodie. Just a quick, just to shock someone or cause some damage. It might not be as high damage as some of your long-range cantrips, but if you are in a situation where someone's up front and personal, and say you've lost your sword, because even most magic users have a simple sword or a dagger, specifically a short sword, because that's all you can really carry. It could be your saving grace, especially if you have been stripped of all your belongings because you've been captured, and your easiest way to do it is bye.
Yeah. And you only get up to 4 cantrips.
Yeah.
And that is to level 20. So at level 1, you'll only have 2 cantrips. Maybe think about having, if that is, that's a good point. So maybe have 1 touch, 1 range.
Well, if we very quickly look at the cantrips that a Warlock has, you've got Blade, Ward, Booming Blade, Chill Touch, which is a 1d8.
Yeah.
It has a thing of 120 feet.
Is that from you to 120? Yeah. Oh, perfect.
Create Bonfire. Yeah. I know how you love that. Eldritch Blast, which is again 123, and it's a 1d10 force damage.
Okay.
You got Frostbite, Green Flame Blade. I do enjoy this. This is a great one for an up close.
Yeah.
Because basically, you have a weapon, you add an effect on it. On a hit, the target suffers the weapon's attack as normal, and you can cause this green fire that you've cast on this blade to jump to another creature that is also within 5 feet.
Okay.
So 2 damages for the price of 1. That is a handy one to have. And because it's a cantrip, it's free to use every time.
Okay. Yeah.
Otherwise, there's not many that give you up close and personal. Toll of the Dead can be quite handy, although it involves a saving throw. And that is probably my only thing. However, if they succeed on a wisdom throw, they still take damage. It's just 1d8. If they fail a saving throw, they take 1d12. So at least with that one, you're always going to...
Yeah. So there's a good selection in there. Just always remember your constitution. Otherwise, you will be kind of screwed. But also make sure you have a backup plan for when you are captured. Just because.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Now, if we start to go through the class features.
Yes.
At level 1, you get a lot of things. An otherworldly being, a pact magic, and cantrip spells. As I said, pact magic is when you have created your pact with whatever demon, deity, otherworldly thing you have decided to make a deal with to access your magic.
Yes.
You make that decision from the get-go. Now, you don't get everything from the get-go. You never do.
No.
But you have to make that decision straight away. And you've got some examples of things like the Archfey, the Fiend, and the Great Old One.
Yes.
Also in, I think it was Tasha's, you get a genie.
Yes, yeah.
I like that, especially for like flavour context. Yeah.
But there's also, we'll get into this, but the genie covers, it's like human. You also get different flavours of genie. And we will go into those.
And you nailed it earlier. Hexblade and Celestial from Xanathar's.
But yes, those are there are 7, and you also get features. So on top of Pact Magic, which is where you get your pact with your Celestial, you also get features at level 1, 6, 10, and 14. But they're all different, and we will cover them Right now.
Yeah. So, as we mentioned, that first thing you get is your otherworldly being, which is the thing you are making your deal with.
Yes.
Your pact magic is the magic you get with that. So that is where we start to look at all the different things that you get. And I believe some of them are called like a pact boon. Some of them are classed as otherworldly patron feature. You know,
pact boon is also on there. So I think I've got to be honest.
I spoke out of turn. Otherworldly patron feature is part of your pact magic.
With this entire class, the language it uses is possibly the most confusing I've ever read.
That's fair.
Because so many things are either labelled incredibly similar, or kind of the same, but they all do very different things.
Oh, yeah.
And so yes, an otherworldly being is your subclass. Pact magic is the magic bestowed on you through that subclass. And
cantrips are your free spells that you can cast, as we mentioned, with Eldritch Blast and Chill Touch. Then your spells known as just how many spells you are allowed in that moment, which is only 2, and you only have 1 spell slot at the first level.
Yeah.
So it's really minimal. And then your spellcasting ability, which we've covered, which is Charisma.
Yeah. But also the spell slots only go up to 4. So even at level 20, you only have 4 spell slots.
Oh, I don't like that. And then the maximum you can know is 15, which when you think you can know 15 but only have 4 slots... You do have your invocations known at that point, which take you up to 8. Yeah. But then is 12 worth it as a whole number compared to what other classes can get? Right.
I don't know.
Level 2.
Yes, sorry. Level 2.
Level 2 is when you get your Eldritch invocations.
Yes.
And so you gain 2 of your choice. And when you gain certain Warlock levels, you gain additional invocations. Additionally, when you gain a level in this class, you can choose one of the invocations you know and replace it with another invocation that you could learn at that level.
Yes.
So I like that. I like that you could pick 2.
Yep.
And your next invocation level is level 5.
Gain a level in this class. So you whenever you gain a level.
No, but the ones that you can know.
Yes.
So the next time you can have 3 and not just 2 is at level 5. So that's only 3 after level 2. Yeah. Not bad. But level 2 to 3 and 3 to 4, you can go, I'm not sure about what I picked.
I'll just change them.
I can change it. I like the option to be a bit versatile.
Yeah.
And maybe that's how you discover what works for you, what you're going to get your use out of. Or maybe you've leveled up as you're about to go on a certain type of mission and you've clocked it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a bit metagamey, but you've gone, this is what I need right now.
Yes.
I'm going to contact my deity and be like, I will sacrifice this power if you can give me this because this is what I really need.
True. But it is only when you level up. So, yeah.
The chance of that happening at the right time.
Yeah, very minimal. But you never know. At level 3, you get a pact boon. Now, this is a gift that the deity you have chosen will bestow upon you. They can be Pact of the... Is it Cane or Chain?
Chain.
Pact of the Chain, which is where you are able to cast Find a Familiar, and you are then able to gain a familiar. And these can be things like pseudo-dragons or sprites or things that you are able to... are small enough that you can have on your person, I guess.
Yeah. Do you know what? Tyler currently has a pseudo-dragon in the RFI.
Yes, he does.
Campaign. So I'm now starting to think, I've not paid attention to what his attacks have been.
Are you now going to be paying attention? Have we just found a Warlock?
It's just making me think, but I know he loves a familiar. Like, he's had them multiple times.
Yeah.
So maybe it is.
Yeah. When you have this familiar, when you take an attack action, you don't take one of your own attacks and basically give it to your familiar to make an attack with its reaction.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, fair. I'm not overly familiar with familiars.
It's really handy. They can be used to scope out a room before you've gone in.
Okay.
Because you have a psychic connection to them most of the time. So they can go so far ahead of you, scout the layout out, and then send that information back. So for them, it's really handy.
Okay.
Which is why Warlock actually in a sort of spy situation would be a great combination.
Yeah.
Especially why then maybe boosting your stealth. But sacrificing your turn for a familiar's to take a turn in battle, I don't know if the payoff is that great.
No.
But if you are that far away,
that
you can start to do some things from a distance, and you go, well, they're right there. Maybe you are so far back that you are taking shots, but your pseudo-dragon is near an enemy that has grappled an ally. Or
this is only its reaction. So it's a reaction, not a action. So if your familiar is flying into battle and the BBEG goes, aha, plow, and throws lightning at it, you can sacrifice a turn for its reaction to be fireball. I think.
When you take the action, you can forego one of your own attacks to allow your familiar to make one attack with its reaction. Yes, but you're essentially sacrificing your own attack for him to react in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are some times where it says, so you'd have to read specifically about your individual familiar and class, and maybe it's when you hit a certain level, is that actually you could cast a spell with them as the focus. So say it's a 120-foot range spell, but you're 200 feet away, but they're closer.
Yeah.
You could actually cast it from them, like a channel.
Yes. Got you. Okay.
And you got Pact of the Blade.
Yes.
You can use your action to create a packed weapon in your empty hand. You choose the form that this weapon takes each time you create it. You're proficient with it whilst you wield it. It counts as a magical weapon for purposes of overcoming resistances and immunity to non-magical weapons, which is great if you're up against barbarians or paladins that have got armor or that high level that they've gained resistance against bludgeoning, slashing, all that sort of damage.
This reminds me of, is it Astral Self? The rogue one where you can just create weapons.
Is that Monk?
It may
Way
have
of
been.
The Astral
it
Self.
May have been Monk. I'm just multi-classing all over the place at this point.
But yeah. But I understand where you're going. Like, there is a rogue subclass to do with psychic.
Yes.
I can't remember what it's called.
It's that one where you just kind of have a psychic blades,
but you can throw stuff and call it back, which is exactly what you can do with this. Your packed weapon disappears if it's more than 5 feet away from you.
Yeah.
You can transform one magic weapon into your packed weapon by performing a special ritual. You know, that's... I don't know if that offers a lot, apart from overcoming resistances, which is handy. But, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you've got Pact of the Tome.
Yes. All the books. Basically, you acquire, you get given or gifted, you don't acquire it, your Book of Shadows through a grimoire, basically. Yeah. When you gain this feature, choose 3 cantrips, which is good. And I think that adds 3 onto the 1, 2, or 4 that you already have, which is brilliant. So yeah, choose 3 cantrips from any spell class, from any class's spell list even. The 3 don't need to be from the same list. Yeah. So you could choose 1 druids, I can't remember other ones. 1 wizards, 1 sorcerers.
Cleric or paladin.
Yes. While the book is on your person, you can cast those cantrips at will. They don't count against your number of cantrips known. If they don't appear on the Warlock spell list, they are nonetheless Warlock spells for you. If you lose your Book of Shadows, you can perform a 1-hour ceremony to receive a replacement from your patron. Oh, it's like having a fun little library.
Yeah. I like this one.
Yes.
Especially because I love my magic.
Yes.
You only know 2 cantrips at level 1 to 3.
Yeah.
So if you get an extra 3 at that, so I've now got 5 to play with.
Yes.
Cantrips can be incredibly versatile. And yes, okay, you need to decide which 3 are in the book and what 2 are on you at all times.
Yeah.
But if you've got 3 and Mage Hand, incredibly useful in the situation. You know, you could put some other offensive spells in there, but even some like buff spells just to help out in a situation. Okay, if you don't have your book, you're a bit screwed and you've got your main 2.
Yeah.
But to be able to have something that gives you a little bit more versatility, personally, I think that is the better one out of the 3.
Yes. Even though I do love a pseudo-dragon.
Yes.
But this is level 3 and we need spells. So I guess that is the one for
that's
us.
how I would look at it. But
Absolutely.
Then, again, looking at Tyler, who is someone who loves a familiar, if he is playing a Warlock or has in the past, because he has had a familiar in a few campaigns, he's probably looked at that and gone, yes, because it's also your imagination what you can do with this creature.
Yeah. Especially if they're able to fly, you can send them up to places. If they're able to, like, bird's eye view it. Yeah. Stunning.
Now, at level 4, ability score improvement or feat, standard as usual. You choose if you want to increase your skills or you pick a feat. What gets me, though, is if I'm just looking at the features, it goes from 4 to 11.
Yes, it does. It goes from 4 to 11, then till 20.
Yeah. Now, you do get some other stuff in between.
Yes, your ability score improvement goes level 4, 8, 12, 16, and 19.
Yeah, but
which is standard.
Outside of the features, you get your otherworldly patron feature at level 6, which is to do with your pact magic, your personal deity fiend thing that you've made a pact with.
Yes.
And then at level 7 and 9, you get your increases with your invocations now.
Oh, yes.
But I don't know if that is worth a big enough payoff to not have any main feature from level 4 to 11.
For 7 levels.
Yeah.
And those are, like, typically, in my head, 1 to 10 is your typical standard. This is where people are going to reach. This is kind of the length of the campaign that you are playing. 1 to 10. Which means that if you're missing out you're missing out on quite a lot of things, because they've placed some big stuff right at the end, which is not helpful. No one's gonna get there. And you're right, I hadn't even clocked the fact that it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, nothing.
So for an example, if we go from level 4 to level 6, where you gain a feature from your thing, and we'll cover the subclasses, but just to explain, so the Archfey gives you Misty Escape. Starting at level 6, you can vanish in a puff of mist in response to harm. When you take damage, you can use your reaction to turn invisible and teleport up to 60 feet to an unoccupied space you can see. You remain invisible until the start of your next turn or until you attack or cast a spell. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a short or a long rest. Now that is a handy feature but it's a one-hit wonder situation until you take a rest.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that at level 6 because of my pact.
Yeah.
But I'm still not getting anything in between apart from some extra invocations.
Yeah.
And then you've got to look through the list of invocations to go, is this really worth everything I'm getting as a whole class system?
Yeah.
I'm just going to do the Fiend one as well. Just Dark One's Own Luck. Starting at 6th level, you can call on your patron to alter fate in your favour. When you make an ability check or saving throw, you can use this feature to add a d10 to your roll. You can do so after seeing the initial roll, but before any of the roll's effects occur. So the DM hasn't said if it was successful or not. Again, short or long rest. Great that you can have it in a short rest and you don't have to wait for a long rest.
Yes.
But that's still maybe only a few times in a session if your party is willing to rest that many times and use up their die.
Yeah.
They are good. They are actually quite good for different reasons. But is it still worth having to wait that massive gap of 7 levels just for one thing in your pact that you get and some extra invocations that you have to keep choosing from a set list that you don't even know if they're going to be everything that you wanted?
No.
And some of them you have to wait until you're at certain levels.
Yeah.
So if you're not at that level, which a lot of them, level 7, level 9, level 15, okay, there are clearly some that aren't. But is that enough between level 4 and 11?
It doesn't feel like it. However, if you're looking at this thinking this isn't, sometimes having too much is too much.
Yeah.
Having an overwhelming spell list, having an overwhelming options of things to do in a battle is too much. Then maybe a Warlock is for you because you only have 4 cantrips to choose from, or like 8 spells to choose from, and that's it. Yeah. That's all you have to worry about. You have your dragon.
Yeah.
You have your dragon.
Yeah.
And you get to play it that way. And you're on an adventuring party, so you're doing an adventure, you're not really fighting. So maybe that is how you want to play it. But the two of us love magic. So having only 4 cantrips at level 20 feels harsh.
Yeah.
And that's fair. But yeah, from level 4 we jump right into level 11, which feels crazy. And you have Mystic Arcanum.
Arcanum, yeah.
Your patron bestows upon you a magical secret called an Arcanum. Choose one 6th level spell from your Warlock spell list as this Arcanum, and you can cast this Arcanum spell once without expending a spell slot. You must finish a long rest before you can do so again.
Okay, so it is slowly making up for the fact that you don't get as many spell slots or magic options by saying you can pick one 6th level spell.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny considering you can only go to level 5 on its own list. Like, it can only go up to a 5th level spell slot. So the fact that you can now learn something at 6th level, that's nice. We're getting somewhere. And it doesn't cost you a spell slot.
Yeah.
So personally, I'd pick one badass spell that could do a lot of damage personally, so that you could use it in times of need when you are going against a big group or even just one big massive enemy.
Yeah.
And you're like, we are struggling.
Help us. Yeah.
Or you find a spell that does a great effect that can protect or manipulate a situation to your advantage. I think you really need to be a bit strategic with that spell.
Yes. Yeah.
To get it free once a day, well, once per long rest, that's not bad.
No.
But again,
it does follow the wizard spell slot quite religiously, because at higher levels you gain more Warlock spells of your choice that can be cast in this way. So 7th level level spell at 13th level, 8th level spell at 15th level, 9th level spell at 17th. Yeah, it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
But whereas you would just have that spell slot, and once it's gone, which is fine, you would still have all of these.
Yeah.
Whereas this, you use it once and it's gone.
Yeah. And also your other spell slots are increasing for the lower levels. That doesn't happen here. No. You literally only get 4 spell slots.
Yeah.
In total.
Yeah. That's it. So once you have cast spells 8 times, you're done. You have to rely on other things.
No, 4 times. 4 spell slots.
But you have 4 cantrips. Oh, 4. Yeah,
cantrips are free.
I realised as soon as I said it, I was wrong. Yeah.
So do these 3 things start to make up for it? Maybe. But again, it's a high level just to start getting that payoff. And then we go straight to level 20 again on the features, which is Eldritch Master. At the 20th level, you can draw on your inner reserve of mystical power while entreating your patron to regain expended spell slots. You can spend 1 minute entreating your patron for aid to regain all your expended spell slots from your packed magic feature. Once you regain spell slots with this feature, you must finish a long rest before you can do this again. Okay. This I'm here for.
This works.
It is the quickest one. When you look at Sorcerer, who only gets 4 measly points after having 20 to spend.
Yes.
However, I've still had to wait till level 20 to now finally access 8 spell slots. Okay, once per day. 8 is quite handy. Very handy. I would have loved something like this, not quite saying this many, but just something of this nature a bit early on.
Yes. Level 20 is too far.
Yeah.
It's too far. You only get 4 to begin with, so it is like the Sorcerer and their spell slots.
Yeah.
Where you only get 4. It's exactly the same, but you only had 4 to begin with.
But again, you are getting these bonus spells out of nowhere every so often that don't cost a thing. So maybe this is the way to balance it. And because everyone's so used to the mechanic of how many spell slots and all that, and this is done quite differently.
Yeah.
It doesn't connect in the same way to the rest of the Magic systems that we are used to.
Yeah.
So maybe people just miss the point.
Yeah.
Like, there are parts I'm liking, and as I go on, I'm like, oh, okay, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
But still, from an early level perspective, is it enough? Do you only really start getting the fun stuff as you are higher? And at that point, are you bored of your character? Are you not happy with your character?
Yeah.
Not to say this is a bad.
No, I think it's personal taste.
Yeah.
You and I like magic. We love magic.
So I want all the spell slots.
All of the magic, all of the spell slots. Love the ability to do different things without costs. Wonderful. Yeah. But if that is not you, if you're moving from like barbarian into something with magic and you're like, I don't want it to be a bit too much.
Yeah.
Then maybe this is it. Maybe this is the one.
Yeah, especially when you get these invocations on top. Mm-hmm. The invocations boost what you have.
Yep.
And maybe that is why you don't get as many spell slot options. It's because an invocation that allows you to add your charisma modifier onto your normal cantrip that you can cast every single time.
Yeah.
If you've got a +4 or +5, that's 1d10 plus 4 or 5.
Yeah.
That's 15 maximum per hit.
Yeah.
A wizard and sorcerer can't do that.
No, they can't.
So
yeah.
I guess it's about balance, because then if they had all the spell slots in this, you'd be going, ooh, too powerful.
Too much. Yeah, that's fair. That's something I hadn't kind of thought about, to be honest.
Now we are looking at the subclasses, or your pact that you can choose from.
Yes.
And to roll the list off very quickly, you've got the Archfey, the Fiend, the Great Old One, the Genie, the Celestial.
The Fathomless.
Yeah, the Hexblade.
Yeah, that's it. Those are our 7. We will start with the PHB and then move on through the list. So, PHB, you have the Archfey. This quite literally is, most of them are exactly what they say. So, the Archfey is a High Lord or Lady of the Fey realm. So, think your Oberons, Titanias of the Magical Kingdom. As you know, the way I kind of think about it is, because it is Fey, it is kind of earth magic. This is your kind of druidy situation.
Yes.
Very calm.
But I'd also say, because it's Fey, they're very trickster. You look at Pans and Satyrs, who are known to be tricksters.
Yes.
So I think that is going to be an influence in your magic.
Yeah. So yeah, you have a greater magical power, or settling old age grudges. Those are the 2 options that you have.
Yeah.
And it all kind of shows in your spells list that you get.
Mm-hmm. In this, with these spells lists, considering you only get 4 slots, which, these will still go against, but you can only know 2 spells to start off with, to then 15 at the max. This has increased that. Yeah. These do not go against the spells that you know. So that is something to, by the end of it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 25.
Yeah.
Which would be, by level 5, 16.
Yeah.
That's not bad. But still, to dish over 2 spell slots by level 5.
Yeah.
That's a lot of choice for...
Yeah.
Teeny little living space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next up, you have the Fiend.
Yep.
So, you have made a pact with a fiend from the lower planes of existence, a being whose aims are evil, even if you strive against those aims, such as demons from hell, such as being desire for the corruption and destruction of all things, ultimately including you. Now, it's... I guess if you want to play a shady sort of character, and maybe you want to have that backstory where it's like, this is the deal that you made in the moment of weakness because it's the only thing that may have offered help to you.
Yes.
What would be a great backstory would be like, we both grew up with some religious trauma. Hi, Mum and Dad.
Hi.
But we both grew up in, like, you know, religious...
We had religious backgrounds growing up. Yes.
And then you've got something like this, like, you have reached out to the deity or god that you serve in the D&D world, and no one is answering.
Yes.
And then in that moment, a demon's like, I can help you.
Yeah.
And you are that desperate that you don't even think about it.
Yeah.
And you've made a deal with someone who is hell-bent on the destruction of your kingdom,
the things you believe in.
Yeah.
Yes, they have seen the weakness that they're...
And now your backstory is trying to balance, because you are grateful that they've given you this power, and you kind of realise that, well, your god didn't answer, but these guys stepped in and helped you.
Yeah.
I either sacrifice everything I now have,
mm-hmm.
and they could go somewhere else and try and do it through someone else. Or you go, do I take on this challenge and try and make sure that I can contain it? Or do you end up succumbing to...
Or do you pull your villain era? And do you just be like, I am Donald Trump.
I will build this wall.
I will build this wall. And here is my... do you lean
into it?
Went specifically to the Crossroads demon, and I was like... help me! And they went, of course.
Yeah.
And you went, wonderful, let's destroy things together.
Yeah.
La 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 la.
Because maybe you're done with life.
You're done with it.
You're done with how you've been treated. And you're like, do you know what? You give me this. I will do whatever you say, because I'm done.
Yeah.
That's fair. Better than one shot. With the spell slots, a lot of fire spells in this, which I'm not against.
Which is why I'm like, demon. This leans into demons so hard.
Demon lords, you know, archdevils.
Cheeky
Asmodeus.
Yes! Satanas.
Cardinals.
But yes. Okay. And the last one in the PHB is called the Great Old One.
Yeah.
This, again, most of the ones in the PHB are from otherworldly planes.
Yeah.
This one is no different. So it is entirely foreign to the fabric of reality that you are used to. It might have come from a far-off realm or space beyond reality. You have no idea. Yeah. But it is there, and it has decided to grant you power the way it knows how to, which makes it slightly chaotic in the amount of spells, or not amount of spells, in the spells that it has given you. Yeah. And I kind of like that.
It's a fun spell list, I must say.
Yeah.
Dissonant Whispers is always fun, especially if you want that sort of psychic flair.
Yeah.
Telekinesis, why the hell not? Because I want to send things flying and scare people. Yeah. Which makes sense with the Great Old One being an outer worldly...
Yeah. This is the Stranger Things Warlock, if ever I heard one. Yeah. It's this immense power in a world with a being who clearly has a higher knowledge than you, will just send you to do chaotic things without even telling you, here are the powers that you have, go crazy. Because you're not going to upset the fabric of my universe, bitch. Like,
yeah, nailed it. We then move on to Tasha's Cauldron, which starts with the Fathomless. I need to stop clacking my rings against the mic. You have plunged into a pact with the Deeps, an entity of the ocean. Oh my word, the Kraken.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The elemental plane of water, or another otherworldly sea. You are tripping me up here with your notes. Allows you to draw on this thalassic power. Whatever the reason for your pact, the sea and its unknown depths call to you.
Yes.
Right, so the Fathomless, if we're going ocean, could that technically mean Poseidon?
If you want to put a Greek spin on it, that would
Poseidon is Zaddy.
That would be the one to choose. But I'm thinking more...
like the Kraken,
We have, my partner and I have played a game called Cosmoctopus, which is a cosmic octopus, and this is giving me that vibe.
Where it's cosmic, so wouldn't that also fit into the Great Old One?
I mean, true, but it's in the inky sea, which for me means the depths.
Yeah, but creating universes through its multiple tentacles.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, but this is Kraken territory. This is the deep water that you don't know any, like, 5% is it all we've explored or whatever it is? So, like,
make me a water genasi or a triton who has gone swimming to discover something, like full on snorkeling because I don't need air supply, and have discovered something they really shouldn't have and gone, I'll fuck with this.
Oh.
Not like that, but as in like this creature comes out of nowhere. Like the anglerfish. I have this image of this giant anglerfish coming with its light just illuminating you, and you're like, Bing! If you don't eat me, I will do whatever you say.
Yes.
I will unleash your power on sink the world, you say. Done. Free swimming for me.
Your mission shall be accomplished. Charges up from the shore.
Yeah.
The next one is from Tasha's Cauldron, the genie. Now, this is exactly what you think it is. You are Aladdin, you have found a genie, you have touched cup, lantern, and the being has sprung forth, and thus is the thing that you now worship. But yeah, this also, most of them are otherworldly beings. This one is no different.
Yeah.
However, to choose this one, there are two ways you can go about it. You can either decide on your own, or you can roll.
Yeah, I like that.
So yeah, and the element that comes with the type of genie kind of would be quite fun as a story. Am I boring you?
No, it's not you.
My God. I am kidding.
It's the tablets.
I realise. So yes, you have, and you are going to have to help me with these names because English is not my forte. Dao? Dao? D-A-O. Take from that what you will.
Dao
is Earth.
Yeah.
It's D-J-I-N-N-I, which in my head is genie.
Yeah.
Is air.
Because you've also got a jinn.
Yes.
So I look at it as that a jinnie.
Yeah. You also have
Ifriti.
Yes, you
that's
do.
How I say it. Because I know Ifrit is like fire. So that's how I'd go down it, Ifriti.
Okay.
Because obviously, if you look at genies and their culture, it's... I'm thinking Aladdin.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yes. That sort of...
Again, more trickstery as well, is kind of what I'm thinking.
And married.
Which is water.
Water.
So yeah,
married sounds Welsh to me, which is why I rolled the R. I was like, married.
Ah.
It could be married. I don't know.
Huh. Yeah, like Marina. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you roll a d4 and that's what you select, or you just select one. It is entirely up to you the way you want to do it. But with these genies, you do get, depending on the type that you select, you then get more spells or different selection of spells.
Which I like.
Yeah.
I like that each genie comes with its own spells list.
Yeah.
And just from a quick glance, it doesn't look like any of them have the same.
No. So genie spells and they go all the way to 9th level.
Yeah.
So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 9.
Yeah.
So
genie spells is you get this no matter what genie.
Yes.
And then you get another set of spells depending on your genie, which I like. I do like how each one has a slightly different feel. Like, okay, yeah, elemental feel to be obvious, but like fire is clearly how much damage can I do?
Yes.
Apart from fire shield, which is to help like protect you. Mm-hmm. But like water, where you've got fog cloud, that is a great control spell to, cause issues for people. And blur, you know, then you've got other things as like meld into stone for the earth. All these things, it's not just... They all have a slightly different avenue, which I think kind of aligns to the elements themselves.
Yeah.
Fire is typically seen as destruction. Mm-hmm. Not many people... I like to see fire as life.
Yes.
But not everyone sees it, and they've gone down destruction route, whereas water is always like, it can be.
Yes.
But it can also just confuse you because of how easy the tides change.
Yeah. Absolutely.
After that, we move on to Xanathar's Guide.
We do indeed.
And the first one we have is the Celestial.
Yes.
So your pact with that being allows you to experience the barest touch of the holy light that illuminates the multiverse.
Yeah.
Being connected to such power can cause changes in your behaviour and beliefs.
This one is the God version. This one is. Everyone's got to have a light to suit the dark. We covered the dark in the first...
Yeah.
I think the first one with...
And considering its counterpart in Xanathars is Hexblade.
Yeah. Okay.
I get it. So you might find yourself driven to annihilate the undead, to defeat fiends, and to protect the innocent. So basically, this is your paladin version of a warlock.
Yes.
Like, you've been touched by the light. You have somehow made a deal with someone who is not all that bad.
No. You went to the crossroads looking for a demon, and an angel showed up and went, honey, it's this way.
Like, I come with a robe and a halo. Like, come on.
I am serving.
Which I do think is nice, because otherwise you look at most warlocks and go, you are making deals with
devils.
Devils only.
Yeah.
Or like evil things in nature. I think it's nice to have that flip side and go, no, not all warlocks are like that.
Yeah.
And just because the warlocks have made those deals actually don't make them inherently evil themselves. They found it in a moment of need for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And they said yes.
Yeah.
Some because they want the power, some because they needed it.
Yeah.
The spells that you get with this is first level, expanded spells. Oh no, this is your expanded spells list. So first level is bonus cantrips.
Yes.
Which is always a delicious bonus in this class as a general, and healing light.
Yes.
Then 6th level, that is a jump.
Yeah, they're all so they fit the features that you get
this
in
is
between.
Why
yeah.
I'm reading the features that you're getting, not the spells list.
Sorry.
That is fine.
That is the formatting of the page that I've used.
No, it's fine. I confused myself there. So first level, you get Cure Wounds and Guiding Bolt.
Yes.
Second level, Flaming Sphere and Lesser Restoration. Third, Daylight and Revivify.
Yeah.
Fourth, Guardian of Faith and Wall of Fire. And then fifth, Flame Strike and Greater Restoration, which makes sense. Celestial, so fire and light spells, and also healing abilities, which makes sense for a celestial being.
Yeah. It works. On the reverse of that, however, you do have Hexblade, which is, and like all of them, exactly what it says on the tin. You have hexes and curses, and you use them at will, which is
at will.
Kind of
leave him be. What has he done to you?
No.
Apart from not book the time off work. No, it wasn't that. It was the forces of evil.
It was
the workplace would not allow him the time.
But yeah, you can use these hexes and curses at will. Not Will, the co-host. I meant at will, as in whenever
That's why
you
he's
wish.
not here.
Well, I guess the secret's out now.
You have cursed him, and he is no longer with...
Be afraid. Be very
I will
afraid.
come find you, Will.
No, you won't.
But yeah,
the extra features that you get with these two because of
yeah.
Xanathars are all fitting that, so they're all hexes or spectres or curses, and the spells list to go along with that.
Yeah.
So the chaos that is warlocks in that.
It is very much the chaos, yes. Now, pros and cons of this class. I actually think it's quite deceptive when you look at it from a glance and think you aren't getting much in this. So I think it's really easy to turn someone off. Actually, reading through this, I learned it is balanced. It's just in a very different way that all the other classes have a very set pattern that you're used to. And this is very different to the set patterns of the others and doesn't follow it in any way. So you look at it and go, I'm really not getting much here. When actually, when you look at what you get, like, invocations, I'm just gonna, I know we referenced one, but like just to reference them at other levels. Bewitching Whispers at level 7, you can cast Compulsion once using a Warlock spell slot. You can't do so again until you finish a long rest. Eldritch Spear, which all you need is the Eldritch Blast cantrip. It turns it from 120 feet distance to 300 feet.
Yeah.
So like, there are some good things in here. Master of Myriad Forms. Level 15, you can cast Alter Self at will without expending a spell slot. So there are some great bonuses in here. I think you just need to do a deep dive and really understand what it is that you are after.
Yeah.
And because of these bonuses where you can add damage or even the range. Yeah. Such a great Blaster and Striker. Possibly actually the stronger Striker, because
yes.
Going with Striker means distance. I forgot everything in my head, but
it's okay.
But I would say better than the Wizard and Sorcerer because but Sorcerer has sorcery points that can extend a spell.
Yeah,
but they don't have anything that can add damage like a modifier.
No,
but that requires points. These come free as soon as you have it.
Yeah.
So...
For me, I don't see that many. The pros that you have raised are pros, but there are more cons in my head for this than there are pros.
I do get you on that.
The spell slots. What on earth are you thinking?
Yeah.
4? Don't be silly.
Yeah.
Come on.
The invocations and everything make it look like you do have a lot of variety, when actually, because it can only happen if you have a certain cantrip at the ready, or it gives you access to a spell that you can only use once, actually you're not getting that much out of it. Whereas if you are looking for variety,
yes,
this might not be the class for you.
No.
If you want a variety of spells that you can play with, even Sorcerer doesn't have as many as Wizards.
No.
But Sorcerer gets the sorcery points, which allow them to do things to their spells that Wizards can't.
No.
And that's the balance.
Yeah.
And then Wizards have their books, which means they can know so many more spells than they have slots for, which seems a bit stupid. But then you can change your spells every day. That's the point. You look at your book and go, these are the 10 I'm preparing for the day. And that's what you go and ready with. And then the next long rest you take, you could be like, I don't need these. I want to swap these every long rest.
Yeah. Yeah. And
so that's variety, but with a limit that you're not overdoing it.
I know that comparison is quite literally the root of all evil, but if you look at what you get as a wizard compared to what you get as a warlock... I would still
pick them first over this.
Yeah, I would pick an awful lot of things over this, and I love magic, and I think Barbarian would beat this.
Yeah.
Because I can't lie, in my head it feels like they just gave up.
Yeah.
When writing it. They were like, this fits, done.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. Give it more. Don't stop at the final hurdle. Yeah. Come on. Don't leave us 11 till 20 or 6 till 11. Come on. No. Be better.
I feel like there would be a better way to balance it.
Yeah. Like, I understand that it's a gift from your deity and all of this, but like, have it be like a cleric, because clerics get crazy amounts of stuff and they are literally bound by their deity. The second the deity does no longer wish them to be part of it, they just lose all magic. They just happen to be the flip side of this.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. Which makes sense why clerics and both warlocks are the same health die.
Yeah, which makes sense. But at the same time, none of their features or class things are the same.
Yeah. They're the cons. The pros are great strikers and probably a great face for the team because of the charisma.
Yeah.
And especially if you want that character who is a bit more shady, if you're going by stereotype, because obviously we covered Celestial. If you want that person who is not afraid to intimidate or persuade someone to do some dastardly deeds or, manipulate a situation, especially if you've got characters in your party who are like, we know that we kind of need to do something along these lines, but we're good. We don't want to cross that line. And you've got that one character who's going,
I'll do it.
I don't care.
I'll do it.
I crossed that line years ago.
Yeah. My patron kind of likes it when I do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is how I keep my patron on side.
Yeah.
And not kill all of you. And they're like,
what? Yeah. But I don't know.
If you were to rank it. We do this every session. We rank.
So we had a conversation before we went back and filmed this, and we were trying to sort out our rankings because this is being filmed as one of the last set of ones that we're doing.
Yeah.
So our rankings are pretty much there. We just have to remember where they are. After it started at, I think, 10. This is where I thought, I could put Warlock in 10 comfortably. We've just done this, and I'm knocking it down. I think it's my 12th.
Oh, okay. See, Monk is still 12 for me.
Yeah, but
I don't have an interest in Monk whatsoever. But that's these rankings are personal preference.
True.
Not how bad a class is. It's what we would like to play.
I don't think I would ever play a Monk or this.
Yeah.
So.
But I think I'd pick this before I pick a Monk. So
fair
11.
Enough. 11 and 12.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. But I'm also not.
But again, as we said, it's not, the rankings aren't to do with how good the class is or how bad the class is. It's personal preference of what we would prefer to play.
Yeah.
My all-time favourite class is always going to be a sorcerer. Yours is a druid.
Yeah.
I'm really loving my Paladin at the moment, and that is something that surprised me. So things change over time.
Yeah.
Maybe if I played it and gave it a go to understand, it could change.
Yeah.
But out of everything I've played,
yeah,
Wizard, Fighter, Barbarian, Paladin, Cleric, Sorcerer, Druid. So the only things I've not played so far is Monk, Bard, Warlock.
Yeah.
What are the other two?
Fighter.
No, I've played a Fighter.
Ranger, Rogue.
I've played a Ranger. I've not played a Rogue. So actually, I've only got 4. Monk, Warlock, Rogue. And what was the other one you just said?
Ranger?
No, I've done Ranger. Oh, maybe I've played a lot more than I thought.
Fighter?
Yeah, no, I did Fighter, second ever campaign.
All right, then.
So literally, I've only got... Oh, Bard. Bard I've never played, so I've got 4.
Yes.
But I love magic and charisma. So Bard is probably going to be decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rogue, Warlock and Monk, unfortunately, just end in that bottom barrier because they're not ones that I would chase for.
And that's fine. However, if you think that there are things in Warlock that we have missed, ignored, and just been completely blind to...
Bias over our fun for magic, love for magic, bloodthirst for magic that we think useless.
Yes, please be sure to let us know. You can get in contact with us via our...
On all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X formerly known as Twitter. You can find the podcast on YouTube, Amazon Podcast, Google Podcast, and Spotify Podcast. If you would like to reach out to us, naturally you can message us on any of our social media platforms.
Yeah.
You can also email us any critiques, any questions you may have about anything to do with D&D at the BBEG Podcast @gmail.com.
And you can find us on all social medias at the BBEG
Podcast.
Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to catch us next time.
See ya.